Hey, what's up? I'm Roller Coaster Rider, and welcome to Fresh from My Library. Subscribe to me, and I'll subscribe back. Be sure to give this movie what's that word? A like. Yeah, give it a like. Retweet it if you want to. Post it. Put it everywhere. Whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna review the Uma Thurman movie, Even Cowgirls Get the Blues. A movie from Gus Van Sant. I don't know if I've seen Gus Van Sant movies. Nothing against him. I haven't seen a lot of movies from a lot of directors, a lot of producers, so it's nothing against that. Uh, what is so memorable about this movie? I don't know. It's on the tip of my tongue. That gimmick's been done to death already. Anyway, so about this movie, Uma Thurman plays this girl. I've only seen about 35 minutes of it, but I'm going to watch the entire thing to try as hard as I can to review this movie. Because, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but one of my least favorite movies, or one of the most boring movies I've ever seen, is Meek's Cutoff. And what it is about a group of people in the Old West that go from A to B. That's about it, and very little, if anything, happened in that movie. And it was from the director Kelly Reichardt. And apparently Kelly Reichardt went to the Gus Van Sant School of Directing based on this movie. I'm going to assume that this was just some slump or some mistake or some accident, or maybe it was just a complete studio meddling movie. And no, I have not read the book, but this is if this is a fair representation of the book, I'm not going to read it. Uma Thurman plays this girl with huge thumbs. Basically, and she's Native American, and she basically hitchhikes. That's it. A good 30-40 minutes of this movie is her just hitchhiking, meeting random people, and then it gets to the point where it's like they go to some kind of ranch or something, which is where I left, which is where I left off. I will get back. I'll merge these, but what happens is they go to this Japanese person. I just drank a lot of hot cocoa from the Spice Like Us review. And oh dang, I think this review comes out before that. Oops. So anyway, after this then I really don't know what to tell you. That's pretty much all that's happened. There's a pretty interesting moment where Keanu Reeves has a panic attack. And then there's a scene which is kind of uncomfortable. I'd be very, okay. Let's see, what else? There's some weird scene with a plane. This movie kind of has some weird editing. I don't know if that's his style or whatever, but there's one section where they show a girl on a toilet talking, and then they show another girl with a whip talking. The girl with the whip talks to the camera. And but we've never been introduced to these people. We have no idea who they are, and then later on we're told what their names are, and it's like, this movie could have been edited, that could have been edited better to maybe how she gets picked up, and then they're talking about these ladies, and then we experience it. We experience the thing about how the girl whips with a rattlesnake with a queen of clubs, and I'm not making that up. And then there's something where there's a bunch of girls that are sleeping together in a there's a bunch of cowgirls sleeping together, and they're talking about how they're two to a bed, or I don't know. There's a weird cameo with Roseanne playing the psychic. Uh, and I think for breakfast she gets a cheeseburger and watermelon. Kay, is that right?
Yes, with the soda.
Oh yeah, with a soda because that's road food. And then there's this girl. Kay, do you remember her name?
Wasn't she the butterfly one?
The girl before we paused it.
Wasn't she the butterfly thingy, bubblegum butterfly, whatever?
Okay. She kind of looks like if you saw Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, she looked like that blonde girl. She was also in Suburgatory. That girl, I can't remember her name. I'll look it up and tell you later. But there gets into this like weird rant where she's talking about. Okay, is she talking about like goobies or goobies, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think she was talking about goobies, and that's the point where Kay kind of. What?
Boobies, gumballs, something.
She's talking about something. Uh, it was at this point where I told Kay, like, I'm completely lost, and she was also completely lost. And so we decided to pause it. So I'm going to review the rest of the movie by myself. Um, I'll probably do it similar to the Pirates review, where every couple of minutes I'll just give you like an update. Um, that's all. See ya for future parts. Okay, I'm about 47 minutes in, and it got a little more exciting by having Uma Thurman and that girl. I can't remember her name. She looks like the girl from not Jane Levy, but Jane Levy's friend from Spurgatory. She was also the I think she became what's her name? She became the hot chick in Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. I think she was on Doctor Who. That became that girl. That was that girl. She's also in Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'll remember the name. I'll probably remember the name as soon as I stop. But there's a scene with them making out, and it was nice. They also talked about her bullet hole. Yeah, she got a bullet wound when she was young, and yet another reference to the thumbs. That's all. Bye. Okay, so, she meets, oh god, who's that guy? Hold on one second. Pat Morita. And Pat Morita goes so over the top, it almost looks like he's auditioning for Dragon Ball Evolution. That's like how Chow Yun Fat was in that. That's to a degree how Pat Morita kind of acts. Then the cowgirls have been liberated. I don't know. And then, I'm sorry if I offend people. The gay guy, says to Uma Thurman, like, you know that these are. I'm sorry, I apologize. That these women are responsible. And so Uma Thurman punches him in the face, and this guy, this guy's acting. This guy, Jim Carrey, wouldn't act the way he did after getting punched. So, and now Uma Thurman is like looking at her hands, like what is it? Like that scene from Max Steel where the guy looks at his hands and his hands are like electricity is just flowing out of him. She's like, "What? I'm an hour in. I've got another 30 or so minutes. Bye." Okay, after she punches the dude, she realizes, "Oh my god, my thumbs killed him. Or beat it, hurt him. My thumbs aren't good." So I think she goes to her dad, who she then says, "I want to go under the knife. I want to lose my big thumbs." So she does it, but then I don't know if it's a dream sequence or if it really happens, but have you ever had squid where the tentacles, even though they're cut up, they kind of move like this? They kind of do this involuntarily. That's kind of how the thumb was. The thumb just moved around. It was like in Pirates. It was like the hand in Pirates in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Uh, that's all I gotta say right now. I'm an hour and 6 minutes in, and they're looking at geese. Thought I'd say that the Cowgirls and what is her name? I'll call her Jelly Bean because that's either her first or last name. Um, it's kind of slow. I'm trying really hard to pay attention. Uh, she does get surgery to get a regular sized thumb. However, she then realizes that it's kind of hard to hitchhike when you've got a regular sized thumb. The Cowgirls, what they essentially are is they seem to be like uh animal rights feminists, I guess, where they want cranes to be okay, so they started using brown rice, and that made them come around. So then they started adding fish to it, which made them stay, and then they put peyote in it. Uh, no one has mentioned how the girl has a small thumb now. I'm pretty tired. Uh, and that that relationship that Uma Thurman and the girl was in, it's back. I guess they were taking a break, or I guess they were doing it long distance, but yeah. Uh, got about 19 more minutes left in this movie. I got nothing else to say. This girl does this speech about, which at the beginning I kind of respect, about not using any weapons, not using any guns. But then she takes the Jack of Hearts and then she throws it into the fire and it catches on fire. Just in case you were confused that they're angry at men. I won't reveal how the movie ends, but I will say the girl's name was Bonanza Jellybean. And I'm gonna find out. Oh, there were a few. There were two deaths. Yeah. Okay. Bonanza Jellybean is played by Rain Phoenix. I've never heard of her. I got my tablet, so I'm able to find out some information. Um, the girl that was on Suburgatory, she was Lisa Shea. I should have known that because I did watch Suburgatory for like the first two or three seasons. Um, played by Ali Grant. Um, Karen Karen Gillian or Gillian. I apologize. Uh, she was the one that was in Jumanji 2. And she was also in Selfie. And I should have known that because I did actually watch Selfie. I thought it was pretty funny. It was obviously it was from Emily Kapnick, I believe that's her name, who uh who did Suburgatory, and you could kind of tell there was some pretty funny gags. Um, One other thing I do want to mention is that the I thought it was the same girl from Suburgatory that was in Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. That's not true. Morgan Turner was actually in Jumanji 2. I apologize. Okay, so getting to Even Cowgirls Get the Blues. I honestly have no idea why this movie is called that. I get that I know that it's based on a book, but I if this is a fair representation, I have no idea why it was called that. Cowgirls don't get the blues in this movie, and I mainly got it just because of the title. I think this is my first Gus Van Sant movie. I'm not 100% sure. I think it might. And from what I can gather, um, I don't know if this was either just a fluke or he was trying something different or if this is a fair representation. But if this is a fair representation, his movies are kind of slow and boring in my opinion. They remind me of Sofia Coppola and Kelly Reichardt. I've said in the past that I don't uh, reference critics' work. Um, but I'm sorry, those people I'm not a huge fan of. I'm also not a fan of Rob Zombie. Uh, you can see with my 31 review and my Lost in Translation review for Sofia Coppola. Anyway, would I recommend this movie? Not really. If you're an Uma Thurman fan and you have to see every Uma Thurman movie or you have to see every single Gus Van Sant movie, if you want, go ahead. Um, I'm not a fan of it. I'm sorry. I just found it kind of dull, and there's really like almost no real. The fact that there's a narration makes me think that this was a much longer book, and they tried to make it into a 96 minute or 91 minute. I'm looking at my DVD player. Uh, Join me next time when I take a look at a Star Wars ripoff. Bye.